Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Finally, the wait for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 is almost over. The game will be released on February 18, so we're talking about 13 days, less than 2 weeks. The countdown has officially started, and every single day we get closer not only to the release of the chapter, but also to something we've all been waiting for months, the final trailer. In the last few days, the atmosphere has completely changed. We can feel that we're in that phase where mob entertainment starts moving important pieces. And in fact, yesterday we got a huge update to the ARG with the release of a new VHS-style video. A video that, as always, isn't there just to create atmosphere, but hides very specific information about Playtime Factory and especially about the prototype. In fact, we saw new revelations about the prototype, and we also was what happened to Preston. In this video, we connect directly to that ARG update. We analyze what these new materials are really telling us, and we try to understand how all of this could be connected to the final trailer that, at this point, feels extremely close. Before we move on though, I need to ask you something real quick. If you're enjoying the video, leave a like. It really helps the channel a lot. And if you're not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell, because from now until February 18, some important updates are coming, and I don't want you to miss a single one. With that said, I think we can really start now. Let's take a look at this new ARG VHS video, what it tells us about the prototype, and why, in my opinion, all of this is a clear sign that the final trailer for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 is about to arrive. First of all, let's start with this scene.
I'm so glad you were there when I needed you.
Preston? Now I can be there for you.
Always.
First of all, let's analyze this scene carefully. In this moment, we can clearly see the prototype placing a strange character on the table. At first glance, it might look like a new mascot, but if we look closer, something immediately feels off. The head is Catbee's, but the body isn't. The body doesn't belong to a specific mascot. If we pay attention to the details, we notice some details right away. The arms are not the same. This means we're not looking at a complete character, but at a real assembly. The body is a mix of parts taken from different mascots, forced together. This isn't a natural creation. It's not a successful experiment in the classic sense. It's something built piece by piece. Here we discover that it's not just plastic, mechanisms, or animated parts. Inside this creature there is a human consciousness. We're talking about the consciousness of Preston, one of the Playtime scientists, a real person who was captured by the prototype. The prototype didn't just control the mascots or use them as tools. It captured scientists and Playtime employees and started experimenting directly on them. It took their consciousness and placed it inside these mascots, created by merging parts of different characters. These creatures, therefore, are not simple monsters. They are human beings trapped inside bodies that don't truly belong to anyone. This completely changes the way we see the prototype. He is also someone who experiments, who transforms people into something new, something distorted. And the fact that these mascots are made of different parts could also suggest that the prototype is searching for the perfect combination, or maybe it's just using whatever it finds, without caring about the final result. As long as it works, this ARG scene opens up so many questions, and we can make a lot of theories about this topic. However, there is another important detail that we can analyze. So let's go to the next part of the video. In this part, we will analyze the final screenshot that appears at the end of the VHS video, because it's very important. At first glance, it looks like a very dark image, but as often happens with ARG materials, if we increase the brightness a bit, some very interesting details start to appear. Once the image is brightened, we can clearly see a screen with the words, "See you soon." This phrase alone is already very important, because it doesn't feel like a generic message. In fact, it is related to the next update of the ARG. Right below that, we can see 3 specific numbers: 3, 15, and 13. And this is where things get really interesting. These numbers don't seem to be placed there by chance. The ARG has always used dates, time references, and number sequences to hint at future events. Because of that, One of the most likely interpretations is that this screen is teasing the next ARG update, and at this point, that update could very well be the final one. If we look at how the ARG has progressed until now, it's clear that we are reaching the end. The story is closing in on itself, the main mysteries are being revealed, and the messages are becoming more and more direct. All of this suggests that the next update won't be just another step, but the final update, the one that brings the ARG to its conclusion. The phrase "see you soon" really reinforces this idea. It feels like a clear signal that the last part is close, that only one final piece is missing, and we know very well what usually happens when an ARG ends. When the ARG is over, something very important is usually released right after. For this reason, it's hard to believe this is just a coincidence. The end of the ARG could be directly connected to the release of the final trailer for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, or maybe even to an even bigger announcement. Either way, this screenshot feels like a clear sign that we've entered the final phase. There's not much time left, and whatever comes next could completely change how we see Chapter 5. Okay, but the question now is this: what will the next ARG update really include? Because at this stage, the possibilities are few, but all extremely important. The first one is that the next update will directly include the final trailer of the game. The second possibility is that a final VHS video will be released, designed as the conclusion of the ARG and as the official introduction to Chapter 5. If we think back to the ARG of Chapter 3, something very similar happened. When that ARG ended, Mob Entertainment released the famous VHS video dedicated to Catnap. A video that, at first, seemed like just another narrative piece, but later turned out to be the actual introduction of Chapter 3, the very first video you saw when starting the game. For this exact reason, it's plausible that history could repeat itself. Next week, we could see the release of a final VHS video that definitively closes the ARG and at the same time prepares the ground for the beginning of Chapter 5. However, we have also to consider another possibility: the direct release of the final trailer, the gameplay trailer. Some theories suggest that this trailer could be released as early as next Wednesday. The date fits perfectly with everything else. Wednesday is usually the day when ARG updates are released. It would be the last day of the ARG itself, and it is exactly 7 days before the game's release. A date like that would be basically perfect, closing the ARG, releasing the final trailer, and then leaving a full week of hype before the official release of Chapter 5. And not only that, this trailer could finally reveal the main mascot of the game, the one that, until now, has only been hinted at and theorized about, but never shown clearly. If this is really how things will go, we're just one step away from the most important moment of this entire wait. Whatever they decide to release, whether it's a VHS video or the gameplay trailer, one thing is certain: the next ARG update will not be a normal one. It will be the one that takes us straight into Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next information and revelation. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. We will see you in the next video with news and theories. Bye bye.